Rookie, a native of the north side of Chicago, will make his first start here in Chicago against the White Sox. He grew up watching these White Sox as a kid. Here's his family. His father, Ray Barucki, there with the Blue Jays cap on, is absolutely excited to see his son pitch here. The family and friends have been here throughout all 3 games of this series. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They have split the first 2 games with the White Sox. Brando Grichuk leads off, and then Lourdes Gurriel has got a 10-game hit streak. He's 22 for 45 with 3 doubles and 3 home runs. He's also driven in 7. And Kendrys Morales, he too has a very good hit streak going. He got a 6-gamer, 11 for 24 with a pair of doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. A couple of hot bats in the Blue Jays lineup looking to turn things around here on Sunday afternoon.
They will face 25-year-old left-hander Carlos Rodon, making just his 9th start of the season and first against the Blue Jays. He started this season on the disabled list as he continues his rehabilitation from left shoulder surgery that he had last September. He underwent some arthroscopic surgery on that left shoulder. He's been pitching very well lately. His last 3 starts, he has pitched well against Houston, St. Louis, and at the Angels. He has dropped his earned run average from a season high of 455 3 starts ago to where it sits today at 338.
Coming off a couple of real good starts his last couple of starts. 2-0 over his last 3 starts. So the Blue Jays will be set to take on the lefty. With a left-hander on the mound, no Curtis Granderson in the leadoff spot, so Randall Grichuk will get the nod, leading things off for the Blue Jays today. Grichuk got hit by a pitch in the 5th inning in last night's game. Got hit on the left leg just above his knee. He's pretty sore, but he said, you know what, I'm in there today. I'm not coming out for anything.
Hey, anytime a right-handed hitter has a chance to face a left-handed pitcher, you got to yank him out of the lineup. Grichuk's been swinging a hot bat. Why not face the lefty?
First pitch is popped into the seats, out of play. We are underway on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's 26 degrees here in Chicago. The breeze, what breeze there is coming straight in from center field. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swinging a drive deep to left field, but that ball is going to be foul. He hit it a long way, but he was out in front. Grichuk homered here on Friday night. A long home run, a 2-run shot to dead center. Rando's got 14 homers and 34 RBIs.
Rodon way ahead now. And there's that patent slider. That's the pitch that he's been throwing a lot better over his last few starts, getting that slider over, and it's a good one. When he is commanding the strike zone and using that slider, he'll use it as a finishing pitch.
Grichuk tried to check his swing, but he went too far. 1 away, and that'll bring up the red-hot Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's got a 10-game hit streak, and take a look at the numbers during the hit streak. 10 multi-hit games in a row for Gurriel, batting .489 with an OPS over 1. And he's hitting the ball hard now.
Yeah, and he's hitting everything that they're throwing to him, inside, outside, off speed. Let's see if the White Sox try something different today. They tried to pound him in the first day. And they tried some off-speed pitches yesterday. That didn't work. Let's see if they just try and maybe stay away from his power.
Rodon is ahead 0-1. There's a sinker in the dirt. Ball on the strike to Gurriel. He's playing second base this afternoon. He played shortstop the last 2 games. Edmus Diaz is back in the lineup at short. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Get down ball. That's a base hit for Gurriel. Another line drive base hit. That'll stretch his hit streak to 11 straight. Take a look at the defense for the White Sox. A couple of changes. Leury Garcia is in left field. Engels back in center, and Avisail Garcia is in right.
They've got a lot of young players on this team, so there's going to be a lot of growing pains. That's Yoan Moncada, the second baseman. He's committed 15 errors already, the most in major leagues as a second baseman. But he's been playing just about every day at second base, so the growing pains are happening for this team, but he's a heck of a talent.
Justin Smoke gets a base hit on the first pitch. So Gurriel singles. Now Smoke right behind him singles, and the Blue Jays have something going in the first. They have had good first innings in this series. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits on Friday night. Scored a single run on 3 hits last night, and they've got 2 hits already today.
Hitting hasn't been a problem for the Blue Jays. They had 10 runs on Friday, 12 hits last night, and here they go again in the first inning.
Teoscar Hernandez hitting in the cleanup spot against the lefty, Carlos Rodon. Gurriel's at second, Smokes at first. There's the first pitch outside to Hernandez. Blue Jays lead the season series 3-2 over Chicago. High fly ball, right field. Garcia right at the fence. Back up against the fence. He'll make the catch. Gurriel will tag at second and move to third. That ball carried a long way.
Yeah, Teoscar thought he got enough of it to get it over the wall in right field. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the left-hander Carlos Rodon. He's going to use that fastball 63% of the time, and it's a decent one. He's a former third pick overall in 2014. Slider and then changeup. Slider's been very good for him this year, and the changeup, nobody's been hitting his changeup or his off-speed pitches this year.
Rodon was drafted out of North Carolina State University. As Pat mentioned, the third pick overall. Here's Kendrys Morales. He's riding a hot streak. Morales is hitting .458 during his 6-game hit streak. He takes a strike, 1-1. As we mentioned, Blue Jays have scored in the first inning of each of the first 2 games of this series, trying to repeat that here this afternoon.
Morales has been very aggressive lately. That's why that average has started to climb. He's come up with some big base hits for the Jays, driving in some big runs for him.
The Blue Jays as a team are hitting .304 in the month of July with runners in scoring position. And done a nice job picking up these base runners, and Morales has this opportunity here with 2 outs.
He just looks comfortable at the plate. Looks like he's ready to hit as soon as that pitcher starts to wind up.
It'll pop up into center field. Engel coming in. The center fielder makes the catch, and the Blue Jays will strand a pair of base hits. Half inning in the book. When we come back, Ryan Borucki, the Chicago native, will take the hill and make his first start against the White Sox here in this ballpark. The Chicago White Sox. Let's take a look at the lineup for Rick Renteria's ball club. Jose Abreu, the first baseman. He's got a 7-game hit streak. He's hitting .260 for the season, but during the streak, he's hitting nearly .400. And then down in the 9th spot is the catcher, Omar Narvaez. Over his last 10 games, he's swinging the bat well, hitting .371 with a pair of doubles, 2 homers, and 7 RBIs. Pretty hot hitting team that Borucki will try to cool off this afternoon.
They hit late in yesterday's game, 6 runs in that 8th inning to win it. Ryan Borucki has made 5 starts this year. 4 of them he has pitched well enough to win, but he's still looking for that elusive first big league win. Last time out, no earned runs in 6 innings versus Minnesota. His first no earned run outing of his career.
Tim Anderson hitting leadoff takes the first pitch outside. The White Sox sporting the alternate uniforms today. Flashback to the Carlton Fisk Harold Baines days. That ball is just foul outside of first. Anderson, he hit 9th in the game yesterday. In last night's game, he went 1 for 4. Had a strikeout, got it into a double play.
He's very fast. He's got a lot of speed. He leads this team in stolen bases with 21, so you want to keep him off the bags, especially early on.
Drive to center field. Grichuk ranging back. Easy play for Rando. 1 away. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense. Grichuk continues to play in center in the absence of Kevin Pillar, and he's done a nice job out there.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays continue to shuffle the especially middle infielders around. Today, Aledmys Diaz will get the start at shortstop, pushing Gurriel over to second base. Gurriel has been swinging a hot bat. You want to keep his name in the lineup, but Diaz hasn't played in this series, so John Gibbons wanted to get him in there. He's been nursing a sore thumb when he caught a line drive a few days ago. Hasn't been able to grip the bat very well, so he gets the start today at shortstop.
Aledmys had a good series against the White Sox in April. He homered in both games and went 4 for 6 in the 2 games he played in. Couple of balls to Garcia. Larry Garcia started in center last night. He's in left field this afternoon. He's a switch hitter. 3-0 now.
That last start that I was talking about for Borucki, he did not walk a batter in 6 innings. Second time that he has done that in 5 starts. I think that's what you have to love about him, is his ability to work quickly, throw strikes. He's not afraid to challenge hitters.
Now, he does a great job of controlling his emotions. We don't really know what's going on inside, but he never shows anything. Popped up. High fly ball into right center. Dwight Smith Jr. is there. He makes the catch. 2 away. 24-year-old Ryan Borucki realizing a dream. He's pitching on the ballpark he used to come to as a fan.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scouting report. It's a very simple approach for him. Fastball, just like Rodon, he's going to use that 63% of the time. He's going to have to move it in and out this afternoon to some of these big hitters on the White Sox. And then the slider and the changeup. His changeup is an outstanding pitch. He was talking that early in his professional career, he was basically just a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball and a changeup, but now he has developed that slider and it's taken him to the next level.
First pitch strike to Jose Abreu.
He knew that he had to come up with a 3rd pitch, that breaking ball. It took him a while to get on track because of injuries in the low minor leagues. Come up with that 3rd pitch, but here he is.
He's wearing number 56 because he grew up admiring Mark Burley, who wore 56 while he was pitching in the majors. And much like Burley, he works very quickly. Everybody enjoys that for sure. There's that changeup.
White Sox are getting the first look at Borucki this afternoon, but you can't go up there saying, I need to take a couple of pitches. I want to see what he has, because he throws so many strikes. You don't want to find yourself in a hole.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Abreu will be tagged out by Luke Maile. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Borucki. It took him just 12 pitches. And his fans and family are very pleased about that.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
We're in Chicago on the south side. And Ryan Barucki grew up on the north side of Chicago, but he came to this ballpark an awful lot as a youngster to watch the White Sox. And he had a good first inning. And again, you can't tell if he had a good inning or a bad inning.
And I love that with big league pitchers. Don't show any emotion. Keep them guessing.
Ledmus Diaz goes after the first pitch and pops it into the seats out of play. Diaz for the season hitting .250. 12 doubles, 9 homers, and he's driven home 27. He went around. It's 0-2.
Teams know that Diaz likes that fastball, so he's going to see his share of off-speed pitches this afternoon. That was a changeup from Rodon. Down and away.
Pat, you mentioned Rodon was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. It's the highest draft pick the White Sox have had since 1977, when they took Harold Baines 1st overall. You certainly don't want to miss with that #1 pick. It looks like they have a good one in Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, if you get the top 5 pick, you're hoping, #1, that there's a generational type of player there in the top 5, and you have a chance to get them. Rodon 3rd overall. Looks like he's finally starting to succeed at the major league level. It's taken some time. Now, injuries have had some of those problems, and that's why it's taken him a while. But at least through his last few starts, it looks like the pitcher they were hoping they were getting.
He's coming off a strong 7 2/3 inning outing against the Angels. I'm gonna have 2 runs on just 2 hits and struck out 8. Now he's starting to put together a couple of good strings for the last 2 starts. He's gone into the 7th inning 2 starts ago against the Cardinals right here in Chicago. He went 7 1/3, no runs on 3 hits against that St. Louis ball club. Popped up, foul territory. Catcher Narvaez makes the catch, and Diaz is retired, 1 away. We mentioned the hot streak, and you look at his numbers over the last 3 starts, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there are the last 3. Now, those last 3 were against Houston. One of them, a very good Houston team, St. Louis, and a very red-hot Los Angeles Angels team. A 171 earned run average. Opponents hitting just 141. He threw a season-high 111 pitches in that last start against Los Angeles. He allowed 2 runs, season-low 2 hits, struck out a season-high of 8. And I think in baseball, one of the most inconsistent or really untold, you're just not really sure what you're getting, is young pitching. You just don't know what's going to happen, how long their development is going to take. It's 3 days in a row that we have seen a young pitcher from the White Sox, and it's going to take some time for some of these young pitchers to develop.
This is Brandon Drury as he goes after that pitch. It's a ball on the strike to the Blue Jays third baseman, making his 2nd start at third. Well, you mentioned the young starters for the White Sox. Each of them have struggled in the 1st inning. Rodon was able to strand a couple of singles, but he was in a jam early. There's another fly ball to right. Avisail Garcia, the right fielder, battling the sun a bit, makes the catch. 2 fly ball outs here in the 2nd.
Rodon has had a little bit more time than Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez, but they're all 3 young arms that are going to try and build and put their name on this team for years to come. Johnny Cooper is the pitching coach, and he does a good job with young pitchers, understanding game plans and helping them through the growing pains that you're going to have invariably with young pitchers. You're just not sure what you're going to get here at the major league level.
15th year as the pitching coach with the White Sox. Johnny Cooper's done a heck of a job here. Dwight Smith Jr. now with a ball and a strike on the right fielder. Smith gets the start today against the lefty Rodon. Smith just 1 for 7 against lefties so far this season. He takes strike 2.
We'll have to stay on that breaking ball. Rodon, he's got the lowest opponent's average on sliders this season They're hitting .056 against his slider this year.
Check swing, tapper right back to the mound. Rodon runs it halfway to first, and in another quick inning for Rodon. He settled in after a shaky start. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in the top of the second.
No doubt a very special day for Ryan Borucki and his family, but it's also a special day for others involved, specifically John Gibbons, who was the one that got the chance to break the news to Borucki that he would be starting here tonight. For a while it looked like this start may not happen for him. It could have been Marco Estrada, but obviously that didn't work out, and Gibby said it must have been meant to be, and the baseball gods work in a very, very funny way. Now, as exciting of a day as this is for Borucki, it also could be nerve-wracking and a little overwhelming. I talked to Pete Walker, who said the advice he gave to him was just relax, enjoy the moment, take in all the friends and family before you take to the mound, but when you get out there, you focus, dial yourself in, treat it like any other game, and you shouldn't be too overwhelmed with everything else that's going on throughout the course of the day. Guys.
Thank you very much, Sean. As you see, Ryan Borucki's mom and dad here in the ballpark, and they have been here, Ray and Jackie Borucki, enjoying this experience. They were actually in Buffalo when Borucki got the news that he was going to the big leagues. And what a great opportunity for Ryan to share that news with his folks.
You and I had a chance to talk to his father yesterday, and I asked him, I said, hey, how is it, what is it like as a father to watch your son play at the major league level? He said it's awful. I go, awful? What do you mean it's awful? He says it's awfully nerve-wracking. He says he wakes up in the morning and he starts to feel very queasy on days like today, and he'll call Ryan and say, Ryan, how do you feel? Let's go over the game reports. Let's go over how you're going to pitch. And then he sits there and watches the game, and he says it's awful because he can't control anything.
You and I have both had sons that have played baseball, certainly not in the majors, but we understand what he's going through, because when you play like Ray did, you know, you can control everything. You can control what's going on, and you'd like to be standing behind him in the mound saying, hey, don't throw that pitch. Throw this one.
And he was an everyday player, Ray was, and his son's a pitcher. I said, well, you look awfully calm when you're sitting there watching the games. He goes, no way. I said, my stomach is churning.
This is Avisail Garcia. He takes the ball downstairs. It's 2-2 now. The leadoff man here in the second. Garcia batting .282 for the season. Last year he was an all-star. He hit .330. Had a breakout season. First time he's put together a full season like that. Pretty good looking pitch, didn't get the call. Brian Enoa is the home plate umpire this afternoon.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that one. Up and in fastball. Try to back them off the plate, see if they go down and away now.
That reaches the upper deck. Well, I think this is a challenge for pitchers, not just rookie pitchers, but pitchers in general, because there aren't league umpires anymore. You have a uniform pool of umpires, and they work both leagues. Ground ball to third. Drury has it, takes his time. One away. Well, it's been a busy weekend for Ryan Borucki. Yeah, he got the start today, but he's been busy all throughout this series. Started on Friday, continued yesterday when he had to participate in some family photos.
Yeah, that's the family right there. We're going to take some pictures down on the field, and then we're going to go over and sign some autographs for some of the kids. It's got to be a thrill for a a young player. He used to come to this ballpark as a little boy and watch the games, and now he's down on the field taking pictures, signing autographs, and now he's competing against the White Sox. We showed it in the opening where he used to sit, which is just above the third base dugout here. And his family used to come here. They had some friends who owned those season tickets, and they would come here. I said, "You ever catch a foul ball?" And he said, "No, I didn't, but my brother did. It was off of Dwayne Wise. It was a screamer right up to where we were sitting. He caught it. It's section 338 over the Billy Pierce retired jersey number, right in that area. That's where he used to sit." I said, "Those are pretty good seats."
Very good seats. He got a chance to see the World Series from those seats. There's an off-speed pitch, and Davidson swings. It's now 2 balls and a strike.
So you're sitting right above the dugout behind third base. Look how close you are. And he would peer down and watch Mark Burley pitch.
That's a fair ball just inside the bag at third. Davidson is headed for first. He makes the turn. He's going to second. That's the first base runner for the White Sox. He didn't hit it all that well. He hit it in a good spot. Sounded like it might have broke his bat.
Yeah, he was fooled on that off-speed pitch. Caught him out in front, but he was able to stay back just long enough and hit it just fair enough. Off-speed pitch right over the bag. And Blue Jays were playing him up the middle, pitching the middle, crosses up the defense and hits it down the line for extra bases.
So Davidson picks up his 16th double of the season. It comes with 1 out. Now Yoan Moncada, the switch hitting second baseman, who has dropped down into the 6th spot this afternoon. Moncada led off in the first 2 games of this series. 1 for 5 on Friday night, 0 for 3 last night.
He's got some sneaky power now. You can't give in to this guy. He can launch one out of here. He's got 13 home runs. Not a real big guy. His game is more about speed than power, but if you make a mistake, he can hit one out.
There's a strike. It's now 2-1. Moncada, they mentioned he's a switch hitter. He was acquired from the Boston Red Sox along with Michael Kopech in the Chris Sale trade. Breaking ball missed. Moncada signed originally as an international free agent out of Cuba. March of 2015. He's just 23 years old.
And he's learning. He's learning the game. We've talked about this now last couple of games about finishing off your development at the major league level. There's nothing more that he has to prove at AAA.
3-1. Fly ball to center field. Grichuk going back. This ball is carrying right at the wall. Grichuk makes the catch. Davidson tags. He'll move over to third. Well, we told you the ball was carrying a little better than the outfielders anticipated. The wind is blowing in from center, but for some reason both balls we have seen to right and to center have carried right up against the fence.
What a great read by Randall Grichuk in center field. He had a beat on that ball as soon as it left the bat. He knew exactly where it was going to come down, and he ran right to that spot, right in front of the wall to haul it in for the second out.
Randall has played a lot of center field. He was a everyday center fielder in St. Louis for a while. This is Adam Engel, the center fielder. Borucki, this is really kind of the first time we've seen him fall behind. He's always pitched ahead in his first 5 starts, but he has struggled to get ahead here early this afternoon. Still trying to zero in on that strike zone. It's 2-0. Engel batting .220 for the season. He did not play in yesterday's game. Came in late in the game as a defensive replacement in center field. Off speed pitch. He was out in front of that. Engel had a pair of hits on Friday night. He was 2 for 3 with an RBI double and an RBI single. He also walked and scored a run. He can run.
Yeah, he can run, and that's why the corners are in for this team. Got to shorten up on the infield also. He chops one. He's got the ability to beat it out.
Popped up, shallow center. Gurriel goes out. He makes the catch. So the one-out double is stranded at third. Borucki through 2 innings. No score.
Name and share a game, but Vladimir Guerrero Sr. and Jr. followed very different roads to baseball stardom. This intimate all-access documentary tells the complex family story of the last great Expo and the next great Blue Jay. It's namesake, and it's coming up next.
Should be a great watch as you get a chance to learn a little bit more about the Guerrero family. Vladdy Sr. going into the Hall of Fame today, and his son Junior is with him as well. That's a great experience for the family to go through, and then Vladdy Jr. will go to Buffalo after that and join the team for Tuesday's game. So it's a great weekend all around.
What a great class of Hall of Famers too going in. I mean, you got a little bit of everything. Big starting pitcher, closer, some outfielders, another one of those Atlanta Brave players from that dynasty they had back in the 90s, and Chipper Jones and Jim Thome, 600 home runs. You kidding me?
A terrific class. And I spoke to Jack Morris. We had Jack Morris on at the All-Star game, and he talked about the feeling of being able to go in not only to the Hall of Fame, but to go in with your teammate, Alan Trammell. Pretty special.
Yeah, Tram, what a great player he was, and awfully deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, one note about Jim Thome, he hit over 600 home runs, right? But you never heard anything bad about him. There was never any scandal or anything like that. Nothing. And everybody who's ever come in contact with Jim Thome has something good to say about him.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy, and he was just enthusiastic as hell about baseball. He absolutely loved baseball. Still does. Bailey foul tips it and strikes out. It was held onto by the catcher. That's the second strikeout for Rodon. Out number one here in the third. I'll tell you a story about Jim Thome. I was in Baltimore broadcasting at the time, and he was playing, I believe, for the Phillies, or I'm not sure who he was playing for, but it was after his 500th home run. He had his 500th home run, and Cooperstown had asked him to bring the ball to Cooperstown. This is Grichuk. He goes after the first pitch and pops it over the Blue Jays dugout into the seats. So there was rain threatening before the game. He catches me on the field. He comes, Buck, Buck, Buck. I go, what? He said, are we going to get this game in? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I got to know. I got to know. I said, why? He says, I'm going to Cooperstown tomorrow and taking my dad to present the baseball to the Hall of Fame. He was so excited about that, to share that with his father. And now, of course, today, he's there to go into the Hall of Fame.
You can go look for the baseball that he gave to him back then.
0-1 to Grichuk. Swinging a liner right to the third baseman, Sanchez. You can't guide it.
I did a thing with Thome in Cleveland where they were honoring the 100 greatest Indians of all time. And as it was, you know, they were announcing the players and cheering, the fans were cheering, and you got to run to your position. And Rocky Colavito, they're going crazy. And then Jim Tomei was next, and then Pat Taylor after that. And I was like, Jim, you got to help me out here. Kind of raise your arms to get the fans into it just a little bit here. They weren't cheering like they were with those two guys who are idols.
Well, it's an honor to be included into the top 100 of anything. But you're right. He was a terrific guy and still is, and just so enthusiastic about the game of baseball.
Isn't he doing some work here with the White Sox, like assistant general manager?
Yeah, he's one of those assistants to the GM, special assistant to the general manager. Jerry Reinsdorf and the White Sox have always taken care of their own for sure. Lourdes Gurriel, ball on a strike. He pops this one in the air to right. Long run for Garcia. He'll get over there and make the catch. So Gurriel is retired. He had singled his first time, up, three down. The Blue Jays have set down 8 in a row. Gordon is starting to find it.
Members, log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ8884 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found in your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m. Guys.
Thank you very much, Sean. And beautiful afternoon here in Chicago. The Blue Jays will jump on a plane and fly out to the West Coast and play the Oakland A's starting tomorrow night. Oakland swinging the bats well, playing good. They got a nice team they've put together. Oakland at the start of play this afternoon, 6 games back in the American League West, a game behind second place Seattle, and 6 games back of the Houston Astros. Astros have lost 3 in a row, and they have bullpen problems
and injury problems. Jose Altuve goes on the disabled list.
He's got a bad knee. The shortstop Carlos Correa's got a bad back, and they don't have any bullpen. So look for the Houston Astros name for the next couple of days, because before 4 o'clock they're going to make some trades.
Wouldn't shock me.
4 o'clock on Tuesday.
They've got some young players in that farm system. If they want to give them up, they can acquire some veteran help.
Yolmer Sanchez, third baseman. Renteria has moved his lineup around pretty significantly over the last couple of days. Flip-flopping guys in the batting order.
You notice what he did, though? He's got all of his speed guys in there. This is the only team with 5 players with at least 10 stolen bases, and all 5 of them are in the lineup this afternoon. So he must be anticipating a low-scoring game where the speed's going to be a factor today.
Sanchez strikes out. That's the second strikeout of the afternoon for Borucki.
They wanted to go down and in, and he gets away with a pitch that's actually up and over the plate. Misses his spot, but the result is okay.
Ryan Borucki had really latched on to Jay Happ, since he had come up from the minors, and of course they've known each other the last couple of springs. And of course Jay Happ is pitching today for the Yankees in New York. Through 5 innings, he's allowed 1 hit, no runs, has walked 1 and struck out 2. Jay Happ.
That's Jay Happ.
That's what he does.
Going up against Kansas City today.
Boston also has their new pitcher on display, Nathan Eovaldi. They picked him up from Tampa Bay. He's gone 5 innings of no run ball, allowing 4 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. That's against the Minnesota Twins at Fenway. So it's interesting to see the new names in the different lineups as you go around baseball.
I was watching the Yankee game yesterday, and they had a shot of the dugout, and I saw Jay Happ in a Yankee uniform, and it just didn't click, you know, for me. To see him wearing the pinstripes on the opposition now. But we're happy for him. We hope he does well.
Absolutely.
Except when he pitches against the Blue Jays, of course.
Well, they only have 1 more series against the Blue Jays. This is Omar Narvaez, the catcher. Breaking ball, he jumps back from it. And a drive to right field. This is going to drop. It's a fair ball. All right, Smith misplaced it. It goes all the way into the corner, and Narvaez is around second, and he's going to head for third. He's got a stand-up triple. His first triple of the season.
Same type of play got Dwight the other night in this ballpark. As an outfielder, you have to give him 2. You got to concede. You don't want to, but you have to. But if you play a little bit too aggressively, you're going to turn a double into a triple, and I think that's what he does here. Ball down the right field line. He doesn't back off on it, and when it hits the turf, it bounces away from him, and he has trouble digging it out of the corner. And by that time, the catcher, Narvaez, can go all the way to third base.
For Narvaez, the catcher's first big league triple. And now the infield has to come in with 1 out. Leadoff man Tim Anderson. He had a line drive to center field his first time up. Anderson, he'll chase pitches. So now that Borucki's ahead, he can throw him that slider down, maybe out of the zone, get him to chase. He strikes out a lot. He went after that pitch.
Breaking ball. Okay. Now go a little bit further. You can go up and away if you want to. You can try a changeup off the plate. You've already showed him fastball in, slider in. Now you can change up on him if you want to. Just don't throw a strike.
Good breaking ball, and he can just pull it foul. That's all they can do with that pitch. Borucki, for a young guy, is pretty cerebral on the mound. He has the ability to read bats, and he'll pick up on what a hitter's trying to do against him. It's just his 6th big league start. He's working with Luke Bailey for the 2nd time in his big league career. Bailey wants it upstairs. He was up there, but too high for Anderson.
Not a bad idea. Borucki said something very interesting earlier this week, and it's so true. He goes, when you come up at any level, he says, you don't know how your stuff is going to play. He says, right now I'm just pitching with a lot of confidence, and his stuff is playing at the big league level.
Went right back to the high fastball and gets the strikeout. That's the 98th time Anderson has struck out, and it's a big strikeout for Borucki, 2nd of the inning.
Again, he doesn't have to throw him a strike once he got ahead, and you're right, he is a free swinger and will chase. A little bit too anxious there with the runner at third base. Ties him up with that high fastball. And that's a big pitch. You know the family likes it.
He's an out away from stranding that triple at third base. Leury Garcia. First pitch strike. That's how he was able to resolve the Anderson at bat, by getting ahead. Barucki steps off the mound. He wasn't quite sure about this signal from Maley, so he wants to see the sign again. Breaking ball on the ground. Tough play for Diaz, and he makes it. Oh, what a nice play by the shortstop. It led Miss Diaz. Brandon Drury went after it. He couldn't get to it, and Diaz, with the backhanded grab, throws on the run. Enough arm strength to throw out Garcia. Nice play by the shortstop to save a run for Barucki.
He's having a great start to his homecoming game, but he isn't the only one who's having a homecoming today. No, Curtis Granderson also calls Chicago home. In fact, on Friday, prior to the game, he visited his alma mater, University of Illinois at Chicago, where he actually helped build a stadium, and it is named after him. He went there Friday to help run a clinic and give back to the community, a varying degree of ages of kids, to teach them about sport and fitness and really what goes into it. And to say that Curtis Granderson has given back to this city and has given back to baseball, well, guys, that would definitely be an understatement.
You talk about great guys, and we've been around the game a long time. I don't know if you could find a better person than Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, he's outstanding. He went over there and they played gaga ball and they played shuttle sprints. And when he was eliminated from the games, Granderson still engaged with the participants, cheering them on and giving them advice. He says, we're showing the importance of being active and showing how easy it is to do with your friends, families, and peers.
Now, you could see in those photos that he had a big smile on his face, as big as those kids he was helping out.
He donated $5 million to his alma mater, that school, University of Illinois at Chicago. And they developed a sports complex. It's the largest one-time donation to a university by an athlete ever.
Justin Smoke grounds out, and that's the first out of the inning. But Curtis, he's got what he calls the Grandkids Foundation, where he helps kids all across the country. And one of the first conversations he had with the front office of the Blue Jays was, how can I help you in Toronto? And he does that as well.
One of the classiest guys I've ever met in the game.
Yeah, and I had a chance to see his father here on Friday, and I believe his parents are both educators, and you can see where it comes from for sure. Teoscar Hernandez takes a strike. One out. A couple of lefties going toe to toe. No runs, just 4 hits in the game, 2 for each club.
When I looked up the numbers for both of these teams against left-handed starters, I thought it was going to be a wild scoring game, because the Blue Jays are just 11-25 versus left-handed starters this season. Chicago not much better at 7-17. But today, both of these young starters have their A games.
2 balls and a strike to Hernandez. There's a strike. Now it's even at 2-2. Teoscar's hit .245 against lefties. 7 of his home runs have come against left-handers. 7 of the 15 home runs he's hit against left-handed pitchers. High pop-up, slicing into the seats.
He just barely missed a home run his first time up to right field. He sent Garcia, the right fielder, right up against the wall in the first inning.
He tried to check his swing and did, according to Field and Colbert down at first base. Full count. Kendrys Morales is on deck. How about next? It's a fly ball. This one's not deep. Right fielder Avisel Garcia gets there, makes the catch. 2 away.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Sunday afternoon in Chicago. It was 26 degrees at the start of play, and it's a perfect afternoon for baseball. Kendrys Morales mentioned his 6-game hit streak. Over that 6 games prior to this one this afternoon, he's hit .458. And he's swinging it well from both sides.
That's why they have him in that RBI spot again today. John Gibbons will do that. He will ride that hot hand. And right now, Kendrys is hot. Smoke's been swinging a hot bat. Gurriel, Richick at times have come up with some big hits. So you bunch them all together at the top of the lineup and you hope for the best.
When you don't have a superstar in your lineup, you're going to go with the hot hitters and try to get them in positions where they can drive in some runs. It's a bouncing ball. Big 2 hopper to the second baseman. Moncada. Morales is retired. Another good inning for Carlos Rodon. He's retired 11 in a row. He's making his 6th start for the Blue Jays, and Blue Jays are starting to get much younger, and that was the goal at the start of this season.
Yeah, try to acquire young players, controllable players, athletic players, and they have started that. Ryan Borucki leading the charge there. Gurriel, Drury, and Teoscar Hernandez, all players on this team, 25 or younger, who are going to make considerable contributions to this team, I think, over the next few years. And that's just the first wave. I get the feeling that there's the next wave coming.
Yeah, everybody knows about Guerrero and Bichette and Biggio, but there are players around those stars as well, young minor league stars, if you will. Sean Reed Foley is pitching very well. Thomas Pannone, who's just come back from a suspension, he's starting to throw well.
He might be the next one who comes here for the Blue Jays.
2 balls and a strike to Jose Abreu. Abreu struck out on a good slider from Borucki to end the first inning. Good off-speed pitch. He'll throw it any time. He's the 3-pitch pitcher, but he understands that he can throw his breaking ball at 2 different speeds and make it look like 2 different pitches.
His arm speed on his changeup is fantastic. If you're a hitter and you're watching just the arm speed, it looks like fastball. Then he doubles up and then throws that after the changeup, and it just messes up your timing.
So Abreu strikes out for a second time. He got him swinging at the slider the first time and catches him with a fastball this time.
What a sequence that he put up. Ball that was down for a strike, a ball that was on the outside corner, then a paint fastball on the inside corner. Just really messing with the timing of Abreu, the hitter.
This will bring up Avisail Garcia, the right fielder, grounded out to third his first time up. Borucki's starting to get into a rhythm. We have seen more first pitch strikes from Borucki the last 2 innings. Comes right back for strike 2.
Yeah, and they're not seeing that changeup now. It's a good fastball hitter, and obviously Garcia, so he started him off with a couple of changeups. And just like the Tim Anderson at bat, don't throw a strike here. Throw it off the plate.
Garcia fouls it off. You know, we had a great breakfast conversation this morning with Ken Hawk Harrelson, a great broadcaster here and longtime major league player. And he was talking about controlling the situation, whether you are a pitcher or a hitter. And right now, Borucki's controlling the situation. He's setting the tone for this ballgame.
It was a very enlightening conversation. He controls it again. Catches him looking. For a hitter, he was talking about control out in front of home plate. When you're controlling the bat and hitting out in front. When you're hitting it back behind you, you're not in control.
And pitchers can't control the situation, obviously, by commanding their pitches and throwing strikes. But Hawk Harrelson, he has basically semi-retired. He's doing Sunday home games and will actually have a retirement ceremony in September. And he has been a long-time broadcaster and a terrific player in his playing days. He was the American League Player of the Year in 1968 while playing for the Red Sox.
He said something very profound when talking about good hitters. He said, don't tell me what you hit. Tell me when you hit. He always believes that in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, that's when the good hitters show up. I don't care if you hit 300. A lot of times there's a lot of empty 300 hitters. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Over the years.
No, Hawk was very adamant about that. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Matt Davidson takes a ball down in the dirt. It's 2-2. Borucki with a couple of strikeouts here in the 4th inning. He has 5 on the afternoon. Ground ball. Diaz hit short. Strong throw in time. 3 up, 3 down. No problem. We'll go to the 5th. No score here in Chicago. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio.
RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more, and it is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. It is rated E for everyone, guys.
Thank you very much. You see the youngsters enjoying that shower out in center field on a hot day. They go in there and cool off a little bit. It was part of the old ballpark that they brought over here to put in play at guaranteed rate field. Aledmus Diaz leading things off here in the fifth. Scoreless game. Goes after the first pitch. Get up, ball. Get up, ball. Get out of here. And gone. First run of the day comes off the bat of Aledmus Diaz. His 10th home run of the season. And the Blue Jays lead it 1-0.
Blue Jays are going to be using different combinations on the infield. So if you hit, you're going to play. And Aledmus Diaz says, I want to start playing some more. He sat out the first 2 games in this series, and then with one swing of the bat, gives the Blue Jays the lead. Rodon hadn't given up a home run since July the 5th. That was at Houston in that very good game against the Astros, and this is only the first one.
That home run he surrendered to the Astros was a solo shot to Jose Altuve. Breaking ball for a strike. Brandon Drury falls behind.
Remember his first time up, they threw him a lot of off-speed pitches early in the count. This is a first pitch fastball out over the plate. And to a fastball hitter like Diaz, he's going to be waiting there for that first fastball he sees, and he doesn't miss it.
For the Blue Jays, that's the 20th home run they've hit on the first pitch of an at-bat this season. And Diaz, he loves to hit that first pitch. Drury goes after the breaking ball. He's behind 1-2 now. Brandon Drury flied out to right field, his only time. 1-0 Blue Jays. Aledmus Diaz with his 10th home run of the season. Drury swings and misses. That'll be a strikeout. Let's take a look at the home run once again.
Yeah, Blue Jays are always at their best when they're hitting home runs. This one by Aledmus Diaz. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. And you can see from StatCast that thing just under 99 miles per hour exit velocity. Hit it over 400 feet deep to left field. There have been a couple of shots right to the wall today, but Diaz is the main man. Gets the first home run.
Aledmus Diaz now with 10 home runs. His career high came 2 years ago. He had 17 for the Cardinals in his rookie season. Diaz has 10 home runs in 246 at bats. He had 17 home runs in a full season, 404 at bats back in 2016.
He's had to miss a couple of games because of the soreness on that left thumb. They had just moved him to third base in a game back at Rogers Center, and a line drive hit him in the glove and really hit the base of his thumb, and it swelled up on him. I was talking to him the other day, and he says, I just couldn't grab a bat and grip it properly. So they gave him a couple of days off. It looks like he's okay.
I would say so. Feeling much better.
He was swinging the bat really well before he got hit on that thumb. And missed a couple of games, and then missed a couple of games here.
Gurriel and Diaz obviously having a long, lengthy conversation about Rodon, the pitcher, and what they have seen so far. They both have a hit off of Rodon. Bouncing ball toward second, a 2 hopper for Moncada. Smith's retired, 2 away.
Save big at the outdoor living event at Home Hardware, on from July 25th to August 7th. Here's how.
Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, and to me that looks like a good idea. Young guy's got a whole batting helmet full of ice cream. Getting some help from his dad, I'm sure. Look, Maley, the catcher, he's 0 for 1. 2 balls and no strikes to Maley. Rodon had retired 11 in a row coming into this inning, and then Aledmys Diaz snapped that streak with a home run, the only run of the game.
I like what Rodon just did right there. He missed with 2 pitches, just missed. And he backed off the mound. Just took a quick walk behind the mound just to gather his thoughts and gather himself up again. And he just misses again.
If you're going to be a good pitcher in the major leagues, you have to be your own pitching coach. You have to be able to make adjustments during the course of an at-bat. You can't make the same mistake over and over and over again to the same hitter. Maley hits it high and deep to right. This ball is carrying. Get up, ball, and it's going to die on the warning track. Maley just short of hitting another home run. He flies out to deep right center to end the inning. But the Blue Jays get on the board first here in Chicago. Aledmys Diaz connects against Carlos Rodon. His 10th home run of the season gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead.
Chicago, and looking ahead a few days away is the trade deadline, and it's no secret that it can be a bit of a stressful time for players with so many rumors floating around, and for young players it can probably be a lot to process. But Curtis Granderson has a different take on it. Today he told me that he feels that all the talk and the rumors, well, that's more for the fans and the media, and he understands why it's out there. But with so many rumors floating around and so many transactions happening throughout the course of the year, he blocks it all out, he ignores it, and just focuses on playing the game. He knows that basically anything could happen, but he does his best just to block it out and focus on the game, and whatever happens will happen. Guys, it's a good bit of advice from a veteran who's really been through it all.
Well, it sure is great advice, Sean, and I think when you're Curtis Granderson, he probably spread the word to a few guys. Hey, until you get tapped on the shoulder and told to go see the manager, you're on this team, and that's all you can think about. Jay Happ had that attitude. I mean, he probably had a pretty good inkling that he was going to be dealt, but he kept going out there. Hey, I'm a Blue Jay now, and until they tell me otherwise, that's how I'm going to approach things.
Control what you can control. There's no sense worrying about something that you have no control over. So just go out there and just play the game of baseball.
Yeah, it's just part of the game. And normally, if they're talking about you in trade rumors, that means you're a pretty good player.
I never understood that until I got traded for a couple of times, because I always at the beginning was like, well, they don't like me, they don't want me. But then coaches would say, no, think of it as the team that's trading for it, they want you.
John Moncada laces a single to the opposite field on a leadoff single here in the 5th. That's the 3rd hit for Chicago.
You've been traded before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And it's a tough situation, not just for you. I mean, you can do all the things in baseball, you know, meet your new teammates and learn the league and stuff. It's for the whole family. It makes it tough on everybody.
Yeah, the player has it the best because he has to report to the new team. So he gets on a plane and flies away. The wives and family, they got to pack up and get a new apartment, move the dog, and all that stuff. They're the ones that suffer. Engel drops the bunt up the first base line, and he's going to beat it out. There's nobody at first. Boy, Adam Engel, he's an impressive player because of his speed, but he can do a lot of things to help a ball club. He's a terrific center fielder. And if he figures it out at the plate, he's going to be a real asset for this White Sox club.
Yeah, and you know that Rick Renteria, the manager of the White Sox, is going to utilize what he can do, and this is one of the things he can do. This is an absolutely perfect bunt by Engel. He deadens it off the end of the bat, throws some backspin on it, puts it on the grass. Justin Smoke can't get there in time. Second baseman Gurriel can't get over there, and Engel has just enough speed to beat it out, and the White Sox are in business with a couple of runners on.
And you might look for a bunt here. Sanchez squares the bunt and pops it foul up the third base line. Well, the White Sox, they've got balance in their order. A couple of switch hitters in the lineup. They can do a lot of things, and as you mentioned, Pat, they've got speed too, so they can play the short game.
And we were talking earlier about this situation right here. Left-handers on the mound, they're pitching very well. Maybe small ball, the speed and the ability to move runners are going to play into this game at some point, and right now it has. Sanchez trying to bunt that ball to the third baseman.
Right out in front of home. Maile will look at second, goes to first to record the out. Sacrifice for Sanchez. That's the 17th sacrifice bunt for the White Sox. The bunt was right out in front of home. Maile looked at second, thought he might have had a shot there, but he made the right move. Get the sure out at first base.
Yeah, when a team is going to give you an out, you have to take it. You can't mess it up. Just get an out somewhere. And then the manager can navigate you the rest of the way through this inning. We've got a left-handed pitcher versus a left-handed batter now. So you can find ways to get outs, but don't give them extra outs.
Omar Narvaez, the catcher. He hit the ball to right field that got away from Dwight Smith. It ended up as a triple, his first major league triple of his career. Second and third, one out. Borucki has 5 strikeouts. He could use one right here.
Boy, he just missed the corner on that last pitch. Not that Brian O'Nora was going to give it to him. He's been around the plate the last couple of innings.
Breaking ball off the plate. 2 balls and a strike now. Ground ball right side. Gurriel knocks it down, stays with it, throws to first for the out. But the run comes in as Moncada scores from third. Narvaez picks up the RBI, and it's a tie ball game.
Infielders are taught with runners in scoring position, any ground ball, you've got to get to it and at least knock it down. Gurriel's going to save a run. This ball looked like it was heading into right field, but he's playing deep. He knocks it down. And with the catcher running, it gets him out over at first base. If he doesn't get that ball and keep it in the infield, it's 2-1. He is looking better and better, don't you think, at defensive positions wherever they play him?
Absolutely.
Each day.
This is his 20th start at second base. We saw him play shortstop the first 2 games of this series. I don't know the Blue Jays have really made up their mind as to a position for Gurriel just yet. They know one thing. He can play hitter.
Yeah, he can play the outfield. I've seen him take some ground balls and some throws over at first base. Worry about those little things later on. Right now, he's going to be playing because he can hit.
Fly ball into right center. Grichuk is there, and that'll end the inning. But the White Sox score a run on 2 hits, and it's a tie game as we head to the 6th. It's a 1-1 game, but he wasn't so sure it was going to be a 1-run game with Luke Bailey at the plate.
Ball hit deep to right field. Remember how this ended the inning? Right in front of the fence. Engel hauls it in. That's one view of it. How about this view right here? The pitcher saying thank you. Thank you that ball stayed in. Remember, he was battling himself a little bit in that at bat against Bailey when he stepped off the mound 2-0, and he came through okay.
He had given up a home run to start the 5th inning to Aledmus Diaz and thought he had given up a second. And he showed his appreciation. Thank you. We're in the 6th. It's a 1-1 game. Randall Grichuk will lead things off. He takes a ball upstairs. Randall has struck out and lined out. He had a line drive right to the 3rd baseman back in the 3rd. That's going to be a base hit to left field. It gets down in front of Garcia. A leadoff single for Grichuk. Let's check in with Hazel May. Absolutely, it's strange, but obviously he's been dealt before and he's handled it very well in the past. He did it so again today. His first start with the Yankees goes well.
96 very effective pitches, 63 strikes, 3 hits, an earned run, a couple of punch outs. Now you turn it over to that very deep bullpen.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He is singled and flied out. Gurriel has a franchise record 10 consecutive games with multi-hits. He's hitting .489 coming into this game over those 10 games. He raised his season batting average from .226 to .312.
Sox are trying something different now. They're trying to go away exclusively. I'm going to try and slide one inside.
It'll pop up into left field. Garcia coming in. He'll get there and make the catch. Gurriel is retired.
He's been impressive because he's been able to handle anything that they have thrown at him. Inside, outside, slow, fast, anything. He's in one of those streaks right now. Just can't get him out.
Justin Smoak is 1 for 2 in a first inning single. His single went to center field. Fastball on the outside corner. It's a ball and a strike. 1 out.
This is where Rodon has toughened up so far in this season. Again, he's only had 9 starts now because of some shoulder problems, rehabilitating from that shoulder surgery. But they're just hitting over 200 with runners on base against him this year.
Numbers really drop when the runners get into scoring position. They're hitting just 221 with runners in scoring position off of Rodon. So his focus is very keen once it gets a couple of guys on. The line score are identical. A run on 4 hits, no errors for each team. Smoak checked his swing. Two and two now.
There you go. 1 hit. Excuse me. 1 run, 4 hits, no earned runs.
They've each stranded 2. Might be a good time to start Grichuk here on this 2-2 pitch. He is not running, and Smoak hits it in the air. That's going to be trouble down the right side. Long run for the second baseman Moncada, and Garcia couldn't get there. That's a foul ball. Hit on the warning track and bounce into the seats.
And that ball left the bat. I thought it was going to be a double, but the wind pushed it foul. Everybody playing Smoak to pull. The right fielder Garcia in the gap in right center field. Moncada, the second baseman, up the middle against Justin. Gibby might wait a pitch to see what happens here before he starts Grichuk.
Not running again. Ball 3.
Okay, now
he's got a decision.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to start that runner. Randall's 3 for 3 in stolen bases this year, but you want to stay out of that double play.
Grichuk is running. Ball is popped in the air. That's going to be back and out of play. So Grichuk was moving on the pitch. He goes back to first base, and you're right. They're obviously trying to stay out of the possible double play if Smoak should hit it on the ground.
Stay out of the double play. Maybe you can score from first base on an extra base hit when you start that runner. It's a lot easier to go first to third on a single. You can go first to third on a single to left field if you start that runner. So a lot of good things can happen.
There goes Grichuk again, swing and a miss. The throw to second base is a good one. So some bad things can happen once in a while too. Strike him out, throw him out. Strong throw by Narvaez. He has thrown well all year long, and he gets Rodon out of the inning. authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. We're on the south side of Chicago. And it's a 1-1 game as the rookie Ryan Borucki has pitched very well. No walks, 5 strikeouts over 5 innings, and he's in a 1-1 tie.
Pitching in the ballpark that he used to come to when he was a kid. I asked him also, I said, well, I know Burley was your idol as a pitcher. Who was your favorite player? And he said, Scott Podsednik. That was his favorite player as a White Sox. Remember, Scotty Pods hit a big home run for that team in the playoffs in 2005.
And a liner into right. That's going to get down for a base hit off the bat of Leury Garcia. His first hit of the afternoon, a leadoff single here in the 6th.
Garcia is a tough out. At least he's been a tough out against the Blue Jays. Switch hitter. He came up with a big 3-run triple in last night's game. He's 10 for 10 in stolen bases. This time he's going to inside out that high fastball and hit it on a line to right field.
So Borucki will pitch out of the stretch. He's facing Jose Abreu, who has struck out twice so far. Once swinging, once looking. Ball bounces off the glove of Maile, but not far enough for Garcia to take a chance.
The thing about this White Sox team, they're very alert on the bases. They run hard after every at bat. They're always looking to pick up an extra 90 feet when they're on base. Leury Garcia took a big move towards second after that ball was mishandled momentarily at the plate. Keeps you on your toes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And obviously all the infielders now, the middle infielders, are keeping their eye on Garcia for the possibility of a stolen base attempt. So it's just a little distraction for them as that pitch is on the way to the hitter. They'll take one last look at the runner at first to see if he's moving. Not going here. All in the dirt. But because the White Sox are so aggressive, the defense, they know they can't bobble the ball. You got to make accurate throws, put a little pressure on the team.
It puts a lot of pressure on the catcher to handle the ball cleanly on every pitch. Even a ball in the dirt, if you block it, if it just gets away from you a little bit, because they're so aggressive and they can run, they're looking to move up.
As a team, the White Sox, they have 75 stolen bases. Boston with 79. Cleveland also has 79. So as we speak, the White Sox are second. There's the attempt and a good throw by Maile, just not in time. Luke's thrown the ball very well all season long, but it was just too late as Garcia is now perfect 11 for 11.
I think the Blue Jays had a feel that something was up. I was watching Diaz and Gurriel, and they were really talking between the two of them before this pitch. It's a hit and run. They gamble that Abreu is going to make contact. He swings through that pitch. Doesn't happen very often. That changeup down away, and Luke throws a strike, but just a little bit too late. Blue Jays are checking to see if he was disengaged from the bag, but he was not. You can see on that replay he always stayed in contact with second base.
That's the second most reviewed play in baseball, that tag play. And the infielders, they have been taught to keep that glove on the base runner. You never know if the momentum might take them off the base. 2-2 now to Abreu. It'll pop up into center. Grichuk has a bead on it. He'll get there, make the catch, run away.
At the Honda checkered flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Been a good series here. Each team has taken a game in the first 2 games of this series. Now this is the rubber match. The Blue Jays have the season advantage, 3 games to 2. It's the final time these 2 teams will play this season. Abisail Garcia, the right fielder, is 0 for 2. Leury Garcia is at second. He represents the go-ahead run. 6th inning of a 1-1 game. Carlos Rodon and Ryan Borucki hooked up in a good pitcher's duel.
Yeah, so clutch hits, clutch pitching, these type of games, you got to play a clean game.
In this ball game, obviously a low-scoring game. There has not been a hit with a runner in scoring position. The teams have combined to go 0 for 9. Tribute to the good pitching we've seen so far. Breaking ball for a strike.
Boy, good off-speed pitch there.
Borucki has shown that ability in the limited times we have seen him pitch. Gets into a jam, a fastball count. He can throw the changeup or the slider for strikes.
To a fastball hitter like Abisail Garcia, that's a good pitch.
Bounced wide of third, foul.
Leury Garcia, the runner out at second base, always a threat to steal. He has stolen third base 3 times this year. He is a perfect 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts of third base. Again, in a close game like this, it's starting to get late. Little things like that can help you win the game. So Gurriel's got to keep him close.
Upstairs, it's 3-2 now. Now Davidson is on deck. You don't really have to give in to Garcia, and we have talked about Borucki's ability to throw slider or changeup when it's normally a fastball situation. He walks him. That's not a bad walk in my mind. Got a good hitter like Garcia. Now you'll get a fresh count and deal with Matt Davidson.
Yeah, he's cleaning up for a reason in that cleanup spot, the RBI spot. Garcia, base open. Now you can go to work on Davidson. An easier runner, I think, to double up.
So the first walk issued by Borucki comes here with 1 out in the 6th. There has not been a double play turned in this game. Davidson had a double in the 2nd. It was not a sharply hit ball, just a bouncing ball that was inside the bag at 3rd and went down left field line. Looked like he hit it off the end of the bat. Didn't square it up by any means.
Yeah, threw him a good changeup, and it was down and away, and he's able to pull it.
Another good changeup and a wild swing from Davidson. Ball on strike. Came right back with a changeup off of a changeup.
Yeah, it's a great changeup too. There's Luis Santos now starting to loosen up. Borucki's doing a good job of keeping his eye on Leury Garcia. He's giving him varying looks. 1 look, 2 looks, just to mess up his timing out at second base. That's a part of pitching that really people forget about trying to develop. Holding base runners and fielding your position. So far, he has shown that he can do both.
Laid off that changeup, and now it's a full count. There's 1 out. Melee is going to go out and give the defense the play for the running situation should the base runners take off.
Yeah, and what that was with that sign he gave, he probably said, you know what, if they take off, maybe we have a better shot at getting that runner at second base than we do at third base. So he called time. He went out in front of home plate and gave everybody the sign what they're going to use.
They're not running. is popped in the air. Smoke giving chase over near the seats, and it'll be back out of play. You know, and you mentioned a great point, because oftentimes in these situations, if the runners do break from second and first, normally you have a better shot at getting the runner at first. But now, the way the defenses play off the bag, because you can't break up a double play, that guy at first has a huge lead.
Huge lead. And that's where Justin Smoke could sneak in right behind him, keep him closer.
Ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Garcia's around third. Here's the throw to the plate. It is not in time. Matt Davidson with an RBI single has given the White Sox a 2-1 lead. For Davidson, that's his 40th RBI of the season.
You know, and they did not send the runners banking on the speed of Garcia. And what was really interesting, as Garcia went to third base, he didn't know if that ball was going to be in the hole into the outfield, but watch him come off of the bag. He's in the baseline, and Drury's in his way, and the umpire right there says safe. There's no contact. He didn't mess up with the runner or anything like that as the White Sox score the tie-breaking run. Normally you'll see those hitters and runners at second base back off and get a good turn at third base, but he was right in the baseline. Drury had to avoid him, but still a base hit, and the White Sox take the lead.
So Pete Walker with a quick trip to the mound, had a short visit with Ryan Borucki. A run in here in the 6th. Chicago with 1 run on 2 hits and a walk. Ron Moncada had a base hit to right field his last time up. That was in the 5th. He scored the first Chicago run. Chicago now with a 2-1 lead. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 6-4. Borucki just keeps pounding that strike zone. Even though he's given up a couple of hits in a run this inning, it doesn't change his attack mode.
It shouldn't. He gave up the hit to Garcia. The Davidson ball could have been easily a double play if he hits it right at somebody, but he hits it between the third baseman and the shortstop. Wasn't hit that hard.
A ball and 2 strikes to Moncada, the White Sox second baseman. Moncada facing Borucki for the 3rd time this afternoon. Inside. That last pitch, 101 for Borucki. Luis Santos is ready, standing by in the Blue Jays bullpen. Hit in the air to right. Dwight Smith backs up a few steps, now moves in, makes the catch, and the runners will hold. Moncada flies out to right for the 2nd out. Adam Engel had a bunt base hit in the 5th inning that contributed to the White Sox scoring their run in the 5th.
Ryan trying to finish 6 innings for the 5th time in his 6 starts. Getting deep into a ball game. I'd like to see him finish this and then have a chance to win the game if the Blue Jays can score a couple of runs on the top of the inning.
Little squibber off the end of the bat. Engel can run. Borucki, he swiped at him.
Home plate umpire.
He calls him out for being out of the baseline, and
umpire.
He avoided the tag, so Borucki will be recording the out. Rick Renteria, the home plate umpire, quickly, home plate umpire Brian O'Neill explaining to Renteria And of course, Renteria had a pretty good vantage point from the White Sox dugout as to where Adam Engel ran up the first base line. Borucki swiped at him and obviously missed him. Clearly missed him.
Yeah, and then tried to go back and then get the play at first base. And I turned right to the home plate umpire, and he said he was out of the baseline, so he is out. There's a running lane that the batter has to stay in. And from the replay, he was on the grass. He was out of the baseline. Watch him as he tries to avoid the tag from Borucki. There's the running lane, and he is way outside of it. That's what Brian O'Nor saw, and that's why we head to the top of the seventh.
But the White Sox score a run on a couple of hits. Borucki records the out to end the inning, and we'll go to the seventh. Thank you very much. Hazel Newcomb has now thrown 106 pitches. He's got an out in the 8th inning. Still no hits for the Dodgers.
That against a very hot Dodger team.
Very hot Dodger team. Well, he has really stifled them this afternoon. Teoscar Hernandez leading things off for the Blue Jays. They trail 2-1. They've been out hit 6-4. Big swing and a miss. 1-1 now to Hernandez. There's no action in the White Sox bullpen. Ground ball to the shortstop. Anderson takes his time in time at first. 1-1. We had mentioned it. Rodon had really put together some good outings over his last 3 starts. Coming off a strong 7 2/3 against the Angels. He allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. Prior to that, right here in Chicago, he held the Cardinals to no runs on 3 hits over 7 1/3. And his start on the 5th of July at Houston against the Astros, another good outing. So he is on a roll right now for Chicago.
He's starting to harness his good stuff. That start that you mentioned against Houston, he had a bunch of walks, 6 walks, and they followed up with 2 walks, 3 walks, but he's starting to harness it and get it back into the strike zone a little bit more consistently. I mean, there's a reason why he was chosen so high. Great stuff. Now he just has to put it all together.
This is just his 9th start of the season as Morales fouls it back to the screen. 2-1 count on Morales. Rodon had shoulder surgery last September. Began the season, as Pat mentioned earlier, on the disabled list. He is just now building up his arm strength and his stamina.
Made 4 rehab starts, 1 in A ball, and then 3 more at the AAA level before he came back up to the big leagues.
A high fly ball into shallow center. Adam Engel coming in, still coming in. He'll get there and make the pitch. Drive of the game brought to you by the Honda Checkered Flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
Last time at the plate, leading off the 5th inning, Aledmys Diaz jumps on this first pitch from Carlos Rodon and rockets this ball to deep left center field. When it comes down, it's going to be a home run into the stands, giving the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. This afternoon's drive of the game brought to you by Aledmys Diaz. A long drive, so I don't think he's going to get a first pitch fastball now, and he didn't.
Home run number 10 for Diaz. His career high 17 came 2 years ago in 2016. Playing with the Cardinals. The Blue Jays have hit some home runs in this month of July. He chases that pitch up and away and strikes out. Well, that's what you like to see from your starter if you're the White Sox. They give him the lead and he comes out and retires the side in order. Their young lefty, just 25 years old. Ron Borucki is out of the game, and he has pitched well once again, but he is not in line for the win. He's on the hook for the loss as we speak. 103 pitches over 6 innings, 1 walk, 2 runs on just 6 hits. Another strong outing for Ryan Borucki.
Yeah, 5 times now in his 6 starts, he has gone at least 6 innings, and I thought for sure it would have been magical for him to win his first major league game at this ballpark, the place where he used to come when he was a kid, but that is not going to happen as Luis Santos will come into the ball game now. 7 games for Luis, including 1 start. That was against Minnesota in the last homestand. The last time he pitched was 4 days ago, again against Minnesota, when he came in relief just through a third of an inning and was charged with 4 runs. Fastball, a bit of a breaking ball, and a changeup that Santos will feature this afternoon. He's one of the freshest arms that the Blue Jays have down there after the bullpen day yesterday, where they basically used 7 relievers. Remember, John Axford started that game yesterday. 7 pitchers played in yesterday's game, all of them relievers, so he's one of the freshest arms the Blue Jays have.
Only Biagini and Santos out of the bullpen did not pitch in that game yesterday, so they'll go to Santos to start the 7th. They'll face Yomer Sanchez, who will turn around and bat right-handed for the first time this afternoon. Sanchez is 0 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Brandon Drury, the third baseman, waits for it, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Santos. Omar Narvaez had an RBI. He has driven in the first run for the White Sox. That was a ground out in the 5th inning. That tied the score at 1-1. Matt Davidson had an RBI single in the 6th. That gave the White Sox this 2-1 lead. There's a strike. It's 2-1. Sean Newcomb is throwing a no-hitter through 8 innings down in Atlanta against the Dodgers, and there have been 2 no-hitters this season. Both of those by left-handed pitchers, James Paxton and Sean Manaea. And we have seen 2 tough left-handers here this afternoon.
I don't have the number, okay, but we've been saying that a lot this year, haven't we? The pitcher carrying a no-hitter into the 6th inning,
right,
into the 7th inning. I don't know the exact number, but I'm telling you, it's got to be like 20 times.
I would think so. It's been several times, especially early in the season, where we say, well, somebody's throwing a no-hitter into the 6th. But it's
amazing.
obvious with the strikeouts up, not as many hits, so there are going to be more no-hitters.
Used to be those no-hitters. A lot of them came in September when rosters would expand and you're facing hitters are not familiar with certain pitchers, and you had your share of no-hitters in that month. But this year there's been a lot.
There's a breaking ball that's hammered deep to right field, and this ball is gone. Omar Narvaez had his first big league triple back in the 3rd, and now he's hit his 4th home run of the season. That expands the lead to 3-1. His 2nd RBI of the afternoon.
When Luis Santos came up last year for the Blue Jays, he threw a really good breaking ball, showed a very good breaking ball, but it's been a problem for him so far this year. He misses his spot again with the breaking ball to Narvaez. They wanted to go down and in, and look where the ball just stayed up over the plate. And Narvaez times it up, hits it out of here over that picnic area in right field.
The bullpen for the Blue Jays has really given up a lot of runs. That's the 32nd run the bullpen has surrendered in the last 6 games. They have really coughed it up a lot, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that the relievers have pitched more than the starters lately. Starters haven't been able to get deep into the game, so the relievers have pitched a lot. So with that home run that Sanchez surrenders with 1 out here in the 7th, the Blue Jays have now given up 32 runs in their last 23 2/3 innings.
8 runs yesterday in the last 2 innings really cost the Jays a chance to win that game. 2 in the 7th and 6 in the 8th by the White Sox.
Tim Anderson fouls it straight back. Anderson is 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. The White Sox with a 3-1 lead as they bat here in the 7th. Anderson with a wild swing. He strikes out for a 2nd time, 2 away.
Save big at the outdoor living event at Home Hardware, on from July 25th to August 7th. Here's how.
Been a beautiful weather weekend here in Chicago. Basically no humidity whatsoever. Very comfortable temperatures. Here is Leury Garcia. He singled and scored the second run. He had a leadoff single in the sixth, stole second base, and came around to score while Matt Davidson's RBI single to left. Quickly 0-2. The Blue Jays have to rally to come back in this game and possibly tie to hopefully win it. And if they do win today, it'll be their first season series win against the White Sox since 2011. White Sox have had their number.
Boy, have they ever. At Rogers Center and in this ballpark.
Coming into this game, they are 10-14 in their last 24 games here in Chicago. Garcia fights it off to stay alive. It's 1-2. Weak ground ball hit towards second. Gurriel throws to first in time, and the White Sox are finished in the seventh, but they get a one-out home run off the bat of their catcher, Omar Narvaez, his second extra base hit of the afternoon. That gives Chicago a 3-1 lead.
World Series championships and celebrate Blue Jays heroes of the past. Arrive early for a pregame ceremony, and the first 20,000 fans will receive an Alomar, Molitor, and Olerud triple bobblehead. That's Saturday, August 11th. BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck.
Thank you very much, Sean. And obviously, it'll be a great opportunity to see some of the old players that had such a great run with the Blue Jays, 92, 93. World Series championship.
Let's talk a little bit about Jack Morris and what he has meant, because today's his day going into the Hall of Fame, and I've heard some people kind of knocking Jack. Well, he didn't have the numbers, he didn't do this. Jack Morris was a winner, and the Blue Jays were not a winner until he came there, won 20 games, and pushed them over the top with his attitude. He and Dave Winfield, that type of attitude to push them over the top and make them World Series champions.
Absolutely. Pat Henkin talks about it all the time, that when they heard they got Jack Morris after that 91 World Series performance against the Braves, they said, man, we got our ace. We got some swagger now. We got Big Jack.
And I'll tell you what, he set the tone first day of spring training, and it was all about winning. And Jack said something the other day as Drury gets hit, which makes a lot of sense. He says, the game today is all about numbers. He said when we were playing, it was about letters, W's and L's. And that's the type of thing that he brought. Wins and losses. That's what this game's all about.
Yeah, and Jack stayed on the mound. He was out there to beat you. He was the starting pitcher, as you see Brandon Drury. It looked like he got hit right in the belt buckle. So Rodon hits the leadoff man here in the eighth, and with that, there'll be double barrel action down in the White Sox bullpen. Now, Nevis Solarte has come off the bench. He is going to hit for Dwight Smith Jr. Solarte, of course, a switch hitter with Drury at first. Solarte, he's got some pop in his bat. For the season, Solarte with 17 homers, 53 RBIs. Genmar Gomez down in the bullpen, a right-hander, is also a left-hander throwing.
Last time out, Rodon had a season high 111 pitches. He is closing in on 100 right now. You got to figure that he's getting close to getting finished.
It's just the second pinch hitting at bat for Solarte this season, and he takes a strike, taking all the way. So it's 1-1. It's the 8th inning in a 2-run ball game. The Blue Jays trail by 2. Two balls and a strike. Solarte batting against Rodon for the first time. He has not faced him before. Three and one. Good take. Luke Maile is on deck.
You can see Narvaez, the catcher, said, signaling to Rodon, hey, bring it to me right here. Don't overthrow, just throw it right here. We're going to get him out. Now right at 100 pitches.
No walks and 5 strikeouts. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fouled off the umpire. Brian O'Nora. He got hit flush, and he may have had some sort of laceration, as he's called the trainer out, the assistant trainer for the White Sox. That foul tip caught him on the mask, and you can see like he might have cut his chin a bit. Brian Ball is the assistant trainer for the White Sox. He's attending to the umpire, and this foul ball goes right back and hits him on that mask.
Yeah, and I think Brian knew right away that he was cut.
So they will attend to Brian O'Nora, and that really took a shot right on his chin. You can see they put a bandage on him. He suffered some sort of laceration there, but he's going to stay in the game, it appears. Yeah, you can see he asked him his name because of the concussion possibilities, and he said, yeah, I'm Brian, and yeah, I'm the home plate umpire, and yes, this is Chicago. Well, the umpires, well, they take a beating back there. Of course, they don't have a glove, and they can't catch it, and oftentimes they'll take those foul balls off the chest protector. That one was right off the mask and hit him on the chin pretty hard. So it's a full count with Drury at first. There are no outs. Solarte batting for the number 8 hitter, Dwight Smith Jr. Little fly ball to right. Garcia comes in. Solarte flies out for the first out of the inning. So Luke Maile will come to the plate. The catcher has gone 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Luke's got a little power. He's hit 3 home runs this season.
Thought he had number 4 back in the 5th inning when he sent the ball to right field. Well, a long one here would do wonders for the Blue Jays. This might be Rodon's last batter.
Yeah, they've got a righty and a lefty ready, and he delivers a first pitch strike.
Well, Randall Grichuk is the on-deck hitter, and Randall has looked very comfortable his last 2 at-bats against Rodon.
He lined out to third in the 3rd inning and had a single his last time up. 1-1 now to Maile. Now it's 2 balls and a strike.
I think this also keeps Curtis Granderson on the bench and his home run potential. If they bring a right-hander in here to face Maley, they might bring Granderson off the bench.
Good cut by Maley. He got under it and popped it into the seats. Foul.
There's Curtis. You know, he's going to be ready at some point if a right-hander comes in.
The White Sox got a big pinch hit last night off the bat of Daniel Palka. A 2-run single that gave the White Sox the lead, part of that 6-run 8th inning. 2-2 pitch to Maley. Now it's a full count. Sean Newcomb has an out in the 9th. The no-hitter still intact. Ball 4. 2 on for the Blue Jays with 1 out. Now the next move is over to the White Sox. You won't believe where WestJet rewards can take you. Redeem your WestJet dollars to over 450 partner destinations around the globe. Join today at westjet.com/rewards. Rick Renteria, the manager of the White Sox, has come out of the dugout. And it doesn't look like he's made up his mind just yet. Having a chat with Rodon. The batter is Randall Grichuk, and as Pat mentioned, Grichuk's had 2 good at-bats, and he's going to leave him in the game. A show of confidence from the manager. Said, hey, this is your game. Go get him. I like it.
Yeah, he's up over 100 pitches. He's at 108 right now. This inning, you know, to me it looks like the legs are starting to wobble a little bit. Everything has been up in the strike zone. He hasn't been able to push off that backside, get over that front leg. Looks like he might be tiring, but his manager says, hey, if you're going to be our #1 pitcher, I got to push you through these types of situations, and Rodon wants it.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? And obviously they're trying to build something here in Chicago. And you give this young pitcher a chance to get out of it. Randall Grichuk. He goes after the first pitch and falls behind 0-1. Now it's 0-2. You know, the great White Sox manager of that World Series team in 2005, Ozzie Guillen, used to go to the mound in these situations and tell his pitcher, hey, you got yourself into this, get out of it.
But how do I do that, Coach?
Yeah, well, you figure it out.
Figure it out on your own.
0-2 to Grichuk. That's a ball up and away. Brandon Drury got hit by a pitch to start the inning. He's now at second. Luke Maley drew a 1-out walk. He's at first. The Blue Jays trail by 2. Grichuk gets a piece of it to stay alive. Randall hit a home run in the 2nd inning of Game 1 Friday night. A deep home run to center field. One of 5 homers the Blue Jays hit Friday night.
It looked like the message that Rick Renteria went out there said, give me your best breaking ball. I want you to empty the tank against Grichuk.
He strikes him out.
He threw 5 pitches. 4 of them were breaking balls. That was the message. A definite home run threat at the plate at Randall Grichuk, so they diffused that by using his breaking ball.
That's a good breaking ball there. Got on top of it and had a lot of break late. So now there are 2 outs. Lourdes Gurriel. He's 1 for 3. And the pitcher calls the catcher out. So this will be another mound visit. A quick trip to the mound. Abreu comes over from first, making sure they're all in on it. Abreu is the leader of this ball club without question. And you can see he's passing on the information to the right fielder. Garcia maybe telling him, hey, come in a step or two. Lourdes Gurriel singled his first time up. Hacking at that first pitch.
97. He is up over 100 pitches. Now it's 114. And he has plenty in the tank.
It's only a number.
That's right. Let your eyes tell you what you see out there. He still has a good fastball, and he's got a good breaking ball.
Breaking ball in the dirt. It's a ball on the strike. Boy, I really like what Renteria has done here. He's given this starter, a young starter, who projects to be their ace, an opportunity to work out of this jam and protect his own lead.
This could be a ball game right here, and he's giving his ace a chance to finish it.
Gurriel, that's a base hit. Drury's going to come around to score. Bailey will stop at second, and another multi-hit game for Guerrero. 11 in a row. An RBI single here in the 8th inning.
Wow. Lourdes Gurriel has just tied Shoeless Joe Jackson, Sam Rice, Paul Wainer, and Tony Perez since 1908. Longest multi-hit streak games, 11 consecutive games. And Gurriel is the better against Carlos Rodon.
So Gurriel knocks Rodon out of the game. He leaves with the lead, but it's a one-run game. Justin Smoke will bat when we come back to Chicago. Two outs in the 9th inning as Chris Taylor breaks up the no-hitter.
Luis Avilan into the ball game here. 46 games for Avilan. 2-0 with a 394 earned run average, and it was in this situation earlier this series. Avilan versus Justin Smoke late in the game. Avilan struck out Justin here on Friday night.
There's an off-speed pitch. It was down and away.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get. He'll throw you the occasional fastball, changeup, and he's got an outstanding changeup.
One 1-0. It's a one-run game. Luke Maile, the base runner, at second. It has become overcast here in Chicago. And the umpires, they do not like to turn the lights on in the middle of an inning.
Not in the middle of an inning, but you might see it in between the innings. Mookie's got to think change up.
One pitch. Notice Gurriel with 2 hits, and he gets another hit with runners in scoring position during this streak. Over the 11 games, he has hit .417 with runners in scoring position and driven in 8 runs. So not only is he hot, he's clutch as well.
Don't tell me what you hit, tell me when you hit it. And right now, he's hitting clutch style.
1-2 to Smoke. Popped him up. Shallow right field. Moncada out into the outfield. He makes the catch. So Avilan gets out of it. The Blue Jays make it a 1-run game, but they strand a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Chicago with the lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
The Blue Jays will be out in Oakland tomorrow night to take on the A's. Oakland is playing very good baseball right now. They trail the front-running Houston Astros by 6 games. Oakland's in 3rd place. Marco Estrada will open things up on the West Coast against Edwin Jackson for Oakland. It all starts tomorrow night, pregame show, and we will be there for 3 in Oakland. Curtis Granderson takes over defensively in right field. Dwight Smith Jr. was lifted in favor of the pinch hitter Solarte. Luis Santos, his 2nd inning of relief. He gave up a solo home run to Omar Narvaez, the catcher, with 1 out in the 7th. Working to Jose Abreu, who's gone 0 for 3 so far. He's had a rough day. Baraki struck him out twice and got him to fly out to center.
Trying to do something special. Struck him out the first 2 times up, and then the fly ball, it looked like he was trying to get an extra base hit. He was over swinging on that last pitch.
One and two to the leadoff man here at the bottom of the 8th.
He's had a streak against the Blue Jays where he has reached base in 11 straight games against the Blue Jays. That's in jeopardy.
And that will more than likely be snapped as he strikes out for a 3rd time. Abreu 0 for 4 on the afternoon. It doesn't get any easier for the Blue Jays as they will go out to the West Coast and take on the Oakland A's for 3 games. Note on August 1st, that is a day game from Oakland. Then the Blue Jays go into Seattle to take on the Mariners for a 4-game series. Seattle has won just 3 of their last 10 games. They've lost 2 in a row, and they have fallen a little bit off the pace of the Astros.
The next 3 series, the 3 teams combined are 78 games over 500. Oakland, Seattle, and Boston. So it doesn't get any easier.
Avisail Garcia swings and misses. It's 1-1 on the right fielder. No, it doesn't get any easier, and obviously the Blue Jays, they're in 4th place in the AL East. 47 and 56, in danger of falling 10 games under 500 for the first time since last season. Look like Brown and Nora took another shot off the mask.
Time to get a new mask.
If you're not aware, he took a foul ball last inning and got cut on the chin. One out, we're in the bottom of the 8th. 3rd and final game of this 3-game series in Chicago. A hanging breaking ball, and Garcia fouled it straight back. Ryan Borucki went 6 innings. He's charged with 2 earned runs on 6 hits. He has now made 6 starts in the major leagues. His ERA is .283. He's pitched well.
Yeah, he has, and he's been facing some pretty good teams too. There's a good breaking ball to finally finish off Avisail Garcia. It's the 2nd time that Garcia has struck out. Santos has now struck out 3 batters in the last 4. Slider much better. Remember, he got beat with a home run on a breaking ball. That time better depth, and he put it in a better spot.
This is Matt Davidson. He had an RBI single in the 6th. At the time, that gave the White Sox a 2-1 lead. Omar Narvaez would homer in the 7th to make it 3-1, and then Blue Jays scored a run in the top half of this inning to make it 3-2. That's where we stand.
You get your share of home runs from Matt Davidson. You also get your share of strikeouts. Feast or famine with Davidson.
Davidson has 15 home runs. He had 3 of those home runs on opening day in Kansas City against the Royals. Late on that fastball.
Yeah, he's also struck out 113 times coming into this afternoon's game. He looked good on the mound though the other day. I'll tell you, he had a nice 2 different breaking balls that he used. Speaking of warming up, there's Jace Fry, who looks like he's going to be closing for the White Sox.
Up and away, 2-2 now. Fry pitched the 9th inning in last night's game, retired to side and order. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, it'll be Hernandez, Morales, and Diaz for the Blue Jays. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Another breaking ball. That ball just stayed in the middle of the plate. Santos is set. There's a breaking ball hit high and deep to left field. Hernandez is over in the alley, makes the running catch that ends the inning. So Santos retires the side in order in the bottom of the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. The Blue Jays trail by a run. Hernandez, Morales, and Diaz will hit for the Blue Jays. great documentary will be aired right after this ball game. Namesake Vladimir Guerrero and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be featured in a very good story narrated by Stephen Brunt, and it's very appropriate on this day when Vladimir Guerrero Sr. is going into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and his son is with him, so make sure you stay tuned after this ball game for Namesake.
I listened to a little bit before the broadcast today. It sounds great, so tune in for that. Jace Fry trying to finish this one off. He finished off yesterday's game in a non-save situation. Pitched the 9th inning, had a 1-2-3 inning against the Blue Jays.
Teoscar Hernandez takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Teoscar's 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 5 hits. Swing and a drive. Get up, ball. This ball is going to tie it. Home run for Hernandez. And it's a 3-3 game. For Teoscar, his 16th home run has made it a 3-3 game.
And as soon as that breaking ball, the first pitch, missed, Fry says, I think I can throw a fastball for a strike, and that was his mistake. Teoscar Hernandez was waiting for that first pitch fastball. It absolutely cut it through the wind way deep. Look at this fastball. That's right in his swing path. And with that swing, Blue Jays have tied it once again.
A no-doubter to left field. And it's a brand new ball game. So the starters are off the hook, and a terrific start for Carlos Rodon will end up as a no decision.
Listen to the sound of that ball. The wind has been blowing in all afternoon from left field, so you really had to juice one, and he got all of it.
Home run number 16 for Teoscar. His first hit in the 3-game series, and he made it a big one. 0-2 to Morales. He got hit. So Morales will go to first. Interesting now, Granderson was inserted as a defensive replacement. Solarte has been lifted from the game. So Morales at first base. It'll be interesting to see if they decide to use Devin Travis as a pinch runner.
Yeah, he would probably be the only guy that you can use. You don't want to use your backup catcher just yet. But you also might want to use him as a pinch hitter. So some decisions to be made.
Aledmus Diaz. He waves at that first pitch. Nobody out. The Blue Jays have tied it here in the 9th. Diaz's home run came in the 5th inning. It was the first run of the game. Ball in the dirt. Line drive to right field. This ball's got a chance. It's up against the wall. Morales is headed for third as Diaz will stand up at second with a double. Aledmus Diaz, his second extra base hit of the afternoon, has put the Blue Jays in a great spot here with nobody out in the 9th.
No chance for the runner to score as this ball is scorched to right field, deep to right field. Surprised they were not playing no doubles defense, nothing over your head, but the Blue Jays will take it as Avisail Garcia goes over. It's over his head, bounces up against the wall for extra bases. Second and third, nobody out, and Jace Fry is going to be chased from this game.
Home run, hit, batter, and double. He's out of the game without recording an out. Genmar Gomez will come in to face Brandon Drury. Still nobody out in this tie game. White Sox goes 7 2/3, charged with 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 6. He was in line for the win until the Blue Jays have tied it here in the ninth.
They really pushed him into that 8th inning. Could not finish that inning. Jace Fry could not get a batter out, so Jenmar Gomez, a former closer, comes in. Gomez saved 37 games just 2 years ago for the Phillies, and the White Sox signed him as a minor league free agent. Minor league contract with the White Sox this past February. He's got a decent fastball, hard slider, and a changeup with some splitter action. They are looking for some kind of ground ball or strikeout or a pop-up, so Brandon Drury's got to get the ball into the outfield.
Drury is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 8th. Goes after the first pitch, swings and misses.
I think this becomes a very important at bat for the Blue Jays. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. You've got a left-handed hitter, Curtis Granderson, on deck. If the White Sox get Drury without the runners advancing, I'm sure they'll walk Granderson.
Put the double play in order.
Yeah. So this is a big at bat right here. Got to figure out a way to get these runners in.
0-2. Brandon Drury. We mentioned he got hit by a pitch. That was in the 8th inning. Came around to score the second Blue Jay run. Made it a 1-run game. Teoscar Hernandez has tied it up with a leadoff home run here in the 9th. The Blue Jays have runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. Off the plate. Drury obviously understands the situation. The infield is in. He's got to get something that he can get in the air, hit it to the outfield.
Both runners will probably play, make the ball go through on the ground. Infield at halfway with Kendrys Morales running at 3rd.
Ball 2. It's 2-2 now to Drury.
Gomez has been around too. He's been with the Phillies. He's been with the Brewers, the Mariners. He has been around. Been in the big leagues on and off for a long time, since 2012 when he was with the Indians.
Signed originally with Cleveland way back in 2005. He's 30 years old. And his fastball, it'll hit 92, 93. Big pitch for Drury. 2-2. Base hit to center field. Morales is in to score. Diaz is being waved around. He's going to score. Drury's headed for 2nd and he slides in there. Safe. Brandon Drury with a big hit for the Blue Jays to give them the lead here in the 9th inning.
He fought back from 0-2 to 2-2, and that's going to be the important pitch, that 2-2 pitch. He gets a pitch out over the plate and rips it to center field. He's going to turn that single into a double. The outfielder was shading him to right field. Engel goes over, cuts the ball off. 2 runs are going to score for the Blue Jays, and he hustles his way into second base with a double.
His 6th double of the season. He drives in 2. His first 2 RBIs as a Blue Jay. Comes at a big time here in the 9th inning. So Curtis Granderson will bat for the first time. He came into the game as a defensive replacement. He goes after the first pitch and rips it into the seats.
Yeah, he knows what his job is. Get that barrel of the bat out in front and yank it somehow to the right side.
Still nobody out. The first 4 hitters that have come to the plate have all reached base. Hernandez homered. Morales got hit by a pitch. Diaz hit a double to right. And Brandon Drury had a 2-run double to center. One and one now to Granderson. Blue Jays rallying here in the 9th, giving the White Sox a taste of their own medicine. Chicago scored 6 in the 8th to win it last night. Ground ball. Nice play by Moncada in time to take a hit away from Granderson. Boy, Moncada did a good job. That ball was past him, headed to the outfield when he left his feet. Made a good play to throw out Granderson.
And he left his feet. The only chance to try and get to that ball was to leave his feet. There's 3 infielders on the right side. He reads it on one hop, goes airborne to catch it. Granderson still is able to advance that runner over to third base, but this would have been another run if not for the great play by Moncada.
Terrific play. So that's the first out of the inning. The White Sox infield continues to play in Luke Maile. He drew a walk in the 8th. You just love to see the Blue Jays add another run here. Pick off over toward third, but Drury was on his toes.
Luke came up with a big hit the last time he made a start. Ended up being a 2-run single. They were playing in the shift like they are now, and he hit a ground ball to second baseman that made it into the outfield. He might have his sight sets over there again.
Fouls off that ball. For the season, Luke is hitting .325 with runners in scoring position. He had a terrific start to his season in that regard.
He was winning games for the Blue Jays in the month of April with big hits late in ball games with runners in scoring position. Believe me, he's aware of it. There are the numbers you were just talking about, Buck. 19 RBIs for Luke out of the 23 that he's driven in this year with runners in scoring position. He's aware of how they are defending him.
Tough call down and away for a strike.
There's the shift as Moncada right behind the pitcher. Still a hole on the right side of the infield if he wants to take a shot there.
Fair ball down the left field line. Drury's in to score. Maile's headed for second, and he'll get there with a stand-up double. Luke Maile delivering another key hit with runners in scoring position.
He has just had that ability just to laser focus with runners in scoring position and late into the ball game. Infield in, hitters love to see this. Hitters love to see with infield in, you just have to hit the ball squarely, hit it hard, and he does. Over the bag for extra bases. It's a 4-run 9th inning.
Blue Jays have a 6-3 lead, and that'll turn the lineup over once again. Randall Grichuk will bat for the 5th time this afternoon. Randall is 1 for 4. He has struck out twice. The Blue Jays trying to win a series here in Chicago. He had mentioned they've had their problems against the White Sox playing in this ballpark. Coming into this game, they were 10-14 in Chicago, going back to 2012. There's a breaking ball for a strike.
That game last night, Buck, hurt the team. They felt like they had that game won, leading 5-3 into the 8th inning, and then 6 runs going. So they came determined today to win the series.
High fly ball down the left field line. That is blowing toward the seats, and it's going to stay in play. Larry Garcia makes the catch on the warning track in foul territory. Grichuk's retired. The second out of the inning. The Blue Jays have not won a season series against the White Sox since 2011. And they won that one by the narrowest of margins. They were 4-3. The last time they beat the White Sox in a season series. They are 0-5-1 since 2011 against Chicago.
And if they win today and hold on and win, that'll be snapped, right? Didn't you say they were up 3-2? They got a chance to win the series if they could hold on and win this one.
Base hit up the middle. Bailey's being waved around third. Here's the throw to the plate. It is cut off. Gurriel will be tagged out at second, and he may have hurt himself. Oh my. He was trying to avoid the tag. He was in between sliding and standing up. Anderson put the tag on him, and he fell in a heap, and he grabbed his knee. Boy, that'll take the joy out of this inning for sure.
I don't know if it buckled underneath him as he tried to avoid the tag. It looked like he was unsure if he should slide at second base or try to go around the tag. And that indecision, watch the left leg just buckle underneath him. And immediately he went down.
Wow. That leg certainly twisted in a very awkward position. He immediately grabbed his left leg. And the training staff out to attend to him. And everybody, you can hear the stadium has gone silent. Everybody concerned about the well-being of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. No way to even speculate as to the nature of the injury, but he grabbed his left leg after he hit the ground hard at second.
And the spikes got caught, and it looked like they got caught, and then the leg bent back, buckled underneath, and that's usually the patellar tendon. Watch the left leg as the spikes catch, and his momentum take him over his leg.
That is a very, very awkward position his leg was put into as he hit the ground, trying to avoid the tag. Certainly you have to be very cautious and very particular in how you handle this injury from this situation, but if he can walk off the field, that would be terrific news to start with. You can see the White Sox players, they're concerned as well. Now Gurriel, he is up on his feet. He was tagged out at second after registering his third hit of the game. Garcia with the slap on the back, and his countryman Jose Abreu also an encouraging word before he leaves, but Gurriel will leave this game after driving in yet another run. So hopefully he'll be okay, but that is a good sign that he's walking off the field for sure. Ricky Huffman, the head trainer, and Jose Ministral attending to Gurriel. But he's had another great day at the plate. 3 more hits this afternoon. And his teammates obviously concerned about the well-being of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. So we'll take a break. Brian Tepera will be into the ball game to try to wrap things up here in Chicago. Jays is tempered somewhat by the fact that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had to be helped off the field. He is gingerly making his way down the steps in the Blue Jays dugout. He'll go into the clubhouse and they'll further examine him. But he obviously injured himself trying to avoid the tag. He was in between standing up and sliding, and he landed awkwardly on his left leg. So if we happen to get any update, we'll pass it along for sure. But now in the bottom of the ninth, Ryan Tepera will come on to try to wrap things up for the Blue Jays.
Ryan pitched in yesterday's game, and it didn't go so well for him. That ERA went from 274 to 359. So John Gibbons calls him back, and this is great. Get right back out on the horse, get back out there and try to nail this thing down.
Yohan Moncada. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon. Defensively, the Blue Jays have made some changes. Brendan Drury, who started at third base, takes over for Gurriel at second, and Russell Martin comes off the bench to play third. Kind of a curious move with Devin Travis not in the starting lineup.
Thought that would have been the perfect move right there, but there must be something going on there. So Russell, athletic, will take over at third base, and we'll get our first look at Brandon Drury at second base. There's Devin.
He appears to be fine, and just interesting that they didn't use him as a defensive replacement. Instead, they went to Russell Martin. 1-2 to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the ninth, Yohan Moncada. 2-2 now. Yeah, you make a great point about getting Tepera right back on the horse after having that disappointing outing in the game last night. He did not record an out.
Gave up 4 runs. Now was a chance to nail it down.
Drury will look at the umpire, and C.B. Buckner said, okay, you caught it, but just in case Drury throws to first base. But it's a line drive caught by the second baseman. We'll have a pinch hitter, Daniel Palka, who had a big pinch hit base hit for the White Sox in the 8th inning last night. Came off the bench and drove in 2 runs to give the Chicago White Sox the lead. He will pinch hit for Adam Engel. (7-3) Blue Jays. Palka leads the American League with 5 pinch hit RBIs. He had 2 of those last night. Late on that fastball. Palka.
He's only had 9 at bats as a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Make the most of your 2 hits.
2 hits and 5 ribbies. 3-run home run and a 2-run single. Coming off the bench. For the season, Palka has hit 14 home runs. Way inside. The hit that he had last night came against Ryan Tepera. Tepera came in and gave up a base hit to Garcia. He hit Delmonico, and then Palka had the 2-run single to right.
That was the big hit in that inning, and that was tough to stop it after that.
High deep drive to center, and this one's going to get out of here. Palka with another pinch hit home run, his 2nd of the season, and that gives him 6 pinch hit RBIs.
Wow, is it that easy? Come off the bench and rake. This was 2 strikes also. Remember, it was 0-2. Breaking ball for strike 1. Fastball, he blew right by him for strike 2. And then another ball up out over the plate. Fastball.
Palka's 15th home run of the season. Gives him 38 RBIs. He's got 15 home runs in 240 at-bats. That projects pretty effectively over the course of a full season. Gomer Sanchez takes a strike. 0-2. Fly ball not that deep. Granderson coming in, still coming in. He'll slide and make the catch. 2 away.
Ball hung up there just long enough for Curtis to slide and make the catch. Reads it off the bat. It wasn't that deep. Sanchez isn't really a power hitter, so he wasn't that deep to begin with. But it wasn't hit that high. Here comes Curtis, out number 2.
So the White Sox are down to their last out. Omar Narvaez, the catcher, has tripled and homered. And an RBI ground out in the 5th. Strike 1 to Narvaez. 7-4 Blue Jays. Trying to win the series here in Chicago. It'll give them the first season series win against the White Sox since 2011.
Boy, I like what Ryan's doing. He's jumping ahead, painting up that strike zone with strikes. It's the 3rd batter in this inning that he has jumped ahead 0-2.
He really had trouble commanding the strike zone in last night's outing.
Yeah, he was really pulling his cutter off the plate and bouncing it, just overthrowing it. Today, this afternoon, he seems to be a little bit more under control.
Ball 1. It's 1-2 now. Two and 2. Missed with the fastball.
Just tries to paint that outside corner of that cutter away, and he is nibbled off the corners. Now he's run the count to 3-2. Narvaez has had 3 really good at bats today. He's tripled, he's grounded out to drive in a run, and he's homered.
Little flare behind shortstop. That's going to drop for his 3rd hit of the afternoon. He singles here with 2 outs in the 9th.
The ground out that he had was a ball that Gurriel made an outstanding play on, or saved a run for the Blue Jays. Ball with runners at 2nd and 3rd was heading to the outfield. He dove and threw him out at first base. So he's now had 4 really good at bats. Cutter on the inside part of the plate. Inside outs that ball softly into left field. Now Tim Anderson has a chance to keep it going, and Anderson has a long home hit streak on the line. He has hit in 17 consecutive home games.
He's been shut out so far. There goes the catcher. Takes advantage of the defense, and it will be defensive indifference as he moves to second base. Anderson is 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Blue Jays lead it 7-4. One and one now. Luis Santos is the pitcher of record for the Blue Jays. It would be his first major league win. He gave up a home run in his first inning, but had a good outing. 1 run on 1 hit over 2 innings, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 3. He's in line for the win. Ground ball to short. This should do it. Diaz takes his time, and that's the ball game. How about the Blue Jays coming back with 5 runs in the top of the 9th? They win this series 2 games to 1 and win the season series 4-3. And Luis Santos picks up his first big league win.
Yeah, congratulations to him with 2 very good innings against the White Sox. Blue Jays lost a tough one last night when they gave up 8 runs in the last 2 innings. They were determined today to come back and win this one. They fell behind, but that big 5-run 9th inning wins it for Luis Santos. He gets his first big league win. Blue Jays now will head over to Oakland and have a series with the A's.
And hopefully the Blue Jays will get some good news on Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and the extent of his injury. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you tomorrow from Oakland. Stay tuned. Here's Hazelin and Joe with the Blue Jays Central.